Hey partners, it's your boy here, Kyle. I'm playing some more Factory Town today. So we're gonna get back into it. It's been a couple days, a day or two or whatever since this is not my world. Okay. It's been a touch of time since we last joined, but when we left off is in the process of building a bread assembly line, and that is what we will continue with today. So we finished off the cheese assembly line, which will be producing, well, cheese. So the next parts of a sandwich are meat, which we'll get from chickens, and flour for the bread. I'll probably start with the... do I want to put... Honestly, it might be better to put the chicken assembly line here and the bread over here, because we'll need to feed the manure from my other animal points of interest into the furnace to fuel it for the bread. So in that case, I'll probably want to start with that. And then just like the other ones, we'll build the grain mills above the fields of wheat. So I'll drop this real quick. I feel like I have miscounted the number of farms I'll need to produce flour, which is disconcerting, to say the least. Okay, throw down those, add the grabbers to the top, and filter them to wheat just in case something goes terribly wrong. Okay. And these are not grabbing. Why are they not grabbing? They're facing the correct direction. Are these just not accepting because they don't have a recipe? Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. So it takes 3 flour in 4 seconds. Sorry, 3 wheat in 4 seconds to make flour. So with this, I can make 3 grain in 4.25 seconds. So these won't be running at 100% efficiency. So I guess I'm making 2 flour at 2.25 seconds, which is fast enough to produce our sandwiches. Now I'll need kitchens. This might be a little ridiculous, but I think I want to build my bread kitchens above these farms. So that's what I'm going to do. How high is the bounding box on that? Pretty tall. Guess I will start by building scaffold on this side since this is already elevated. Actually, I can just go straight above the grabbers. I don't know why I'm building it off to the side. Okay, is that tall enough, or do I need to go one higher? Okay, that's tall enough, and we'll just be glitched inside of each other. But that is okay with me. And I mean, the kitchen won't really be able to tell that they're glitched into one another. This is, I guess, kind of cheatsy, but it does reduce the footprint, and I am all about that. Okay, throw down these, and they will be making bread, which also takes 4 seconds. Takes 2 flour. Did I account for that correctly? So these will be making 1 flour in 4.25 seconds. 4.5. Why do I keep saying 4.25? So I'm producing 2. It's not going to be fast enough. I need 1 more. Farm. Okay. Might not have thought this out very well. Yeah, because that's 1 bread every 4 seconds. Honestly, I would only need 1 kitchen at the rate that these are pumping out flour. but if I remember correctly, I can make a sandwich every 3 seconds, which is what I have budgeted my time for. So, we need an additional farm, which in this case means I will probably need to build my stuff at the end of the line. I don't know. I've definitely bunged this up. Do I just add another farm here and maybe modify this a little bit? How long? What do I need for chicken? I should look at that as well. Chicken takes 5 seconds a time, so I will need 2 chicken farms. And they'll require 8. Maybe. So I can't build farms on top of each other. Farms have to be on terrain, but what if I build 4 farms? I only need 3 farms for this. I can build... I only need a little bit more. This will be good for the chickens. The chickens will be able to do this, so I guess I'll build the chickens with the same structure I was planning on, and then go from there. Because chickens, to the best of my memory, don't need to be on ground. Although I guess for the sake of it looking nice, I'll use something more solid like stone. Although not right here, I guess, because they can't. I won't be able to have assembly lines pass underneath. This isn't even for... Okay, I'm losing my mind. These aren't even for the chickens, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, put that there and that there. Get my grabbers back again. And basically just redo everything I did. But now with a greater sense of purpose. Okay, put that there. Set it to animal feed. And I guess, no wait, I don't want to rotate it, because I need to make sure they're not fighting back and forth. Okay, and then I need to build this up. I think it was 3. Okay, no, that's taller than I need it to be. We'll use stone to support our chickens. And I think you will actually see the roof of the grain mill glitching through this as a result, but that'll be fine. Alright, pasture. 1 here, 1 here. And then raw chicken. Okay, so I think these chutes will be able to pull from the grain mills. Yes, they will. So that's all good. And yeah, you can see there it is, the roof of the farm through the floor. Brilliant. Okay, so now these guys need water. I was a little dumb with my placement, so let me modify this real quick so that I can fit my wells on. So I can put these here on the edges, and I can put my wells in the center. Although, to be fair, I guess I realistically only need 1 well, because the throughput, this is not as high as it was with the other things. So you know what? I'm gonna put a lamp up here. Boom. Beautiful. Mess this up already. Okay, I guess I will need 2 wells by the virtue of the amount of space I gave myself to work with. Oh, that's not a delete, that's an X to get rid of that. That's also not the correct item. Okay, eventually we'll get this. There we go. Okay, so now these have water and they're gonna start outputting chicken and manure. So now I need my farms, not my farms, my barns. Still not the right thing. Kitchens. Need to reverse polarity on this assembly line now that it has been determined that, what have I done? That my bread farms will be this way. Why aren't they turning around? Okay, whatever. Okay, so that's gonna go there, that's gonna go there, and then I'll need one to pull it from here and transfer it to this silo. These guys need something to do. You know the drill. Get rid of every tree on this godforsaken land, and then you may finally rest. Okay, back to business. So I'll need to mimic, copy the kind of setup I have over here. Okay. Alright. Nice and duplicated. Conveyor belt. Get a grabber, and we're off to the races. Okay, so now this will be able to actually get all of our manure out of here and use it to bake bread like, you know, who wouldn't want bread baked with manure? But these kitchens, or these chicken pens, will need to put kitchens. And they'll be self-sufficient. We won't need to feed the fertilizer in from them because they'll be producing their own fertilizer. The question is, do I want to lower them at all? I think the answer is yes. I think I want them to be level with the grain mills so that it's easier to export the cooked chicken out of them. Or I guess no, because I would need to go over these grabbers. So, in fact, I'll set this infrastructure up right now so I don't mess it up later down the line. And this will will that work? I think that I need to go up a level. Okay. There we go. So I believe I'll be able, my kitchens will be producing chicken at a slow enough rate. Why didn't I just upgrade these now that I think about it? Guess I would have only got it down to... Because we have to kind of ignore the speed bonus from happiness, because that's not a guarantee. If I upgrade this twice, it would go to 150%, which is what it's at currently. What is 5 seconds divided by 1.5? Or 3 over 6. So 515 divided by 6 is 2.5. Which means I can get away with using only one pasture. But that doesn't help me because it's based on the throughput of grain, right? And I would need to be able to produce that much animal feed in that amount of time, so I guess that's a limiting factor. I feel like I've done this math wrong. So, it'll take me 3 seconds to produce 1 animal feed, but I have it set up with 2 grain mills. I don't even know if I've done this right as a result. I mean, I guess we'll see what we get, and if it's not perfect, I'll figure it out from there. Yeah. I mean, if worse comes to worse, I can add some more workers to this system, but I don't want to do that. Let's just get these farms built. Or, kitchens, rather. Throw down all this scaffolding. Here, we'll put our lamp here because we can. There we go. The official lamp post. Alright, kitchens. One here and one here. Set them to cook chicken, which takes 5 seconds as well. And conveyor belt out of here. And this will be good to watch to make sure the system actually works before we get too far along. Actually, these can use the auto feed feature because they will need to output both items, although the more I think about it, I think that I need to have multiple lines feeding out or else it's going to be a bottleneck. So let's do that. Of course, the lamp is in the way again because I need to put it right here. I guess the lamp technically isn't in the way and I could just build through the lamp, but look a little odd. Goodbye, lamp. Someday I'll be able to utilize you. Okay. Archway, 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 archway. Conveyor, 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 conveyor. I'm an idiot. No, I can have that. I can have my lamp. I will have my lamp. Nothing can stop me from having my lamp. Except for my own stupidity. Okay. I forgot. You know, if you just turn them away like you had them originally, then they won't auto-output. Alright. So grabbers, and then need to specify 1 to chicken and 1 to fertilizer for each machine. That's cooked chicken. I need raw chicken. Where is that on the list? Down here. Alright, and then fertilizer. Leather. There are a lot of items in the game that look very similar, I've noticed, which is a little frustrating, but, you know, not unworkable. Okay. Now we should start seeing chicken pop out of these. Yep, here it comes. So let's just watch this for a little bit to make sure the chicken is not running into other chicken. It seems like it's going fine, which is good. And it's just going to pile up at the end of the conveyor belt for the time being, until I can figure out what to do with it. Alternatively, I can build a silo to gather it, because just like the milk, we will have an excess of this that we'll probably want to sell. So I guess for now, I will build a silo that it collects into, and I will figure out what to do with that silo at some point in the future. Okay, so now we can tackle the bread issue. I think the simplest solution and most elegant one will just be to add an additional farm right here. I don't think I need these 4 berries, so I'm going to delete them. I did not need to delete the farm tile, but I did. Okay. You know, I could have them merge together really nicely, which I think is what I'm going to do, assuming I have any berries in shared inventory, which I don't, so it's going to be wheat. I also don't have any grain in shared inventory. Okay. Build a barn. Honestly, what is it? Yeah, I've got this over here. I should just build a barn right here that will collect any excess from this assembly line, I guess, since it kind of won't fit otherwise. We're currently producing assembly lines right now, conveyors rather. We should be full now, I would think. I guess they're still producing. Oh yeah, of course, cloth is being produced infinitely. So I guess what I will do now is temporarily turn something off. What do I want to turn off? I have a better idea. let's just put this here. Okay, so this will stop the flow of items, and then I just have to toggle it whenever I decide that I want to begin feeding my animals again, because, you know, I don't know, just gonna make some joke about how they're always hungry, but that kind of makes sense. They're animals, after all. They do have to eat. What is going on over here? Oh. I guess the line is just full, which makes sense. Okay, so we should be able to do this. By do this, I mean plant to grain. And once we get to 20, good. And I can turn my stopper off. Alright, go. Okay, back to over here. Turn this off, so now it will allow food to pass through. The barn will still collect some extra, presumably, as time goes on, but we'll see, I guess. Yeah, because this is just cranked to produce feed endlessly. Okay. Now we have to clear this land. Alright. Place another farm. And it is collecting berries, of course. Delete the berries. Cancel berries. Been canceled berries. Okay. So, grain mills. Copy what we've got going on over here. Per usual. Yes, I was thinking, do I need 3 grain mills? The answer, I believe, is no. I could probably get away with 2 if I think about it, because I'm producing 6 grain in 3 seconds, which is the amount I need. But flour takes 4 seconds to make. So yes, I need to have 3 of these to distribute the production time. Okay. Alright, that makes sense. Boom, boom, boom. Flour, flour, flour. Throw down the chutes, grab the grabber, set it to be filtered so that catastrophic things can't happen. This is like 2-factor authentication, you know? It's like the farms are already set up so they won't gather anything accidentally. But in case I do somehow manage to mess that up and they collect something I don't want, they won't output it. Okay, so this will start producing grain. Bread takes, let me check, we checked this already, but I forgot it, and it takes 4 seconds, so I'll need 2 kitchens. And I'll put them on the ground, I guess. Okay, I want to do this. I guess I'll just have it split evenly between them. You go to bread, you go to bread. Use a switcher to have it distribute. So we're actually convenient enough that this will just feed out on its own. I'm gonna pause this real quick so I can get this set up. Logistics blocks splitter. Okay, so now these will fill up with flour. Interesting, it's slowing down production to have it go like this, so can I do anything about that? I don't think it's gonna matter in the long run, so we'll just have it go like that. Now we need to feed manure into all of these. So these are currently on their 2nd position. So what I'm actually going to do is lower Oh, I can't do that though because there's fields in the way. I want to lower the... Actually, no, I know what to do. So, we'll build a silo down here and have it auto output onto a conveyor. And use a pusher. If I can find one somewhere. There we go. To force it into this building, which doesn't want to do. Because I have scaffold in the way. Okay. But this will allow me to get the... Is it still not? Did I not actually delete it? Oh. Okay. Finally. Pusher. There. Do your thing. Stop fighting me. Eventually I'll press the correct key. There we go. So, then I can feed this. This is in the way, isn't it? So I think if I go that way, I'm too high up to hit the silo. But I can, and this... Okay, so I know what to do. It's a little annoying, but it'll work. I can raise the output of the grain mills by 1 block. I don't have to do it for all of them, but I want to for consistency's sake. And then that will allow me to build a silo that can be reached by a higher elevation. Let me reassemble this assembly line since this has to go at the bottom. Grab my pusher for the 8 millionth time. Boom. Okay, so now just have to build scaffold over this. And a conveyor belt. Grab the grabber, and that should output on its own. I guess I'll watch it for a second. Okay, yep, it's working. So these will start producing bread. Let me build scaffolding above it. And that these will no longer auto output, but all we'll have to pay is the grabber tax of 10 red coins. And they'll still be able to feed into their designated locations. Okay. So this is working now. I think this is outputting at a fast enough rate. Yes, it is. It'll just take a little while to filter through and actually start feeding into this kitchen. But we have reached the point, the critical point of being able to produce sandwiches. So now all we need is to feed everything into one kitchen. The question is, where do I want to put the one kitchen? I feel like this is a good spot. Makes everything relatively accessible with the exception of the chicken, which will be annoying to get here. Or I could build it here above the grain, because this is closer to where it's going to need to go, and it will make the chicken easier to get. Perhaps that is the best course of action. So that is what I am going to do. Kitchen here. Am I sure I don't want to put it anywhere else? I think this will do. Build a silo next to it for the chicken. And that way I can just send all the chicken over all these ramps and we'll be all good. Now Oh wait, but that's not gonna... Okay. I do have to consider, I guess this is why I would want it over here, is because this isn't the only assembly line I'm going to have leaving this area. So we'll do that, and then use a pusher so that the kitchen will take priority. Okay. Now I need to build these. And last but not least, whoops, scaffold between the two silos. Not scaffold, conveyor belt between the two silos. There we go. I'll take a grabber, and we should start seeing a throughput of chicken into the kitchen. Next, feed in the bread because it is the next closest thing. There shouldn't be an excess of bread, I don't believe. Or will there? I'm producing exactly the amount of grain I need to bake the bread. So there shouldn't be an excess of that. And if there is, we'll go off that point. I think it would be based on my happiness anyway. It wouldn't be a result of the default system. Okay. Alright, now that I have both hands available, I don't have to search through menus. So these will output, and should be fine to output at they're together. Okay, no, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go this way. I can't do that. But you know what this means, guys? It means that I can build a lamp. Beautiful. I love these lamps. They're my favorite. Oh my gosh, look at that shadow. Look at that raycast. Okay. Should I raise it here? Probably. Raise it before we get to the spot where it needs to be so that we don't have to design around it later. And I don't need to do this, but I might, honestly, what I should do I will build an assembly line here and a silo. This will allow me to have an infinite, or will allow me to scrape off any excess fertilizer, gross, that I may not need in this system for potential use later down the line. So I think it's in my best interest to utilize that resource. And for now, I could even like pipe it to a barn over here, so it's in my shared resource or shared inventory. Okay, these guys need to be told how to chop down trees. Okay. Gosh, I can't believe these have been sitting bare without lampposts on them. What am I doing? Beautiful. Okay. So, moving on. Oh yeah, a barn, duh. Don't really need, honestly I can have it right here and it probably won't be an issue. I don't really need to do this or have like a ton of excess, but when it comes to building more farms later down the line, it'll be nice to be able to build more farm tiles at once without having to wait for my systems to deploy more shit. Do this preemptively as well, since I know I'll need to go over this assembly line. I can unpause this and let it start feeding in, and voila, bread. So right now it's backed up because these have full inventories, but once I actually start outputting stuff, that shouldn't be the case. Do I want to raise this up well so that milk can go underneath it? I think the answer is yes. So now I'm going to have a bunch of bread in my base, but that is whatever. Okay. It's like I could have the milk go over it, but this is all excess, and it's more important to be able to monitor the assembly line of bread than it is to monitor the assembly line of milk, since that's just going to be sent out to be sold. Oops. Oh gosh, what have I done? I just broke everything. Okay. Honestly, now that's efficiency. And they should have less of an issue of things bumping into each other. Can't reasonably send this assembly line in a different direction, so I guess I won't worry about that. Alright, this is going here. I'll have it feed right next to the shit assembly line. Oh yeah. Whoops. Fuck. Okay, so I now have some bread on my assembly line, which I'm going to want to get rid of. I will get rid of by building a silo and then deleting the silo. Which will work for the most part, but not all of it, but then I won't have to mess with as much shit. Okay. Alright. Delete, 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 build, build. This is full of bread. Okay, so now we need to get cheese. I was gonna make a Wallace and Gromit joke, but I'm not British enough to make that joke, so... Put this assembly line here. Now let's go out, and just go up from here. Again, I shouldn't see an excess of this. I don't... If I do see an excess of cheese, it again will be from my happiness and not as a base production level of the system. But cheese will be something that is worth monitoring because it will be worth selling if I have an excess of it. But again, this will start outputting very quickly because it has a huge backlog. But now we will have all of the ingredients to bake bread, or bake sandwiches. Make sandwiches, there we go. So, next step is to deliver this all to the food market. So, what I'm going to want to do, probably then, is trash this, even though I'm using it to get rid of shit, and lower these assembly lines down. That way, I can build multiple assembly lines above it, because I can't really go any higher than this without having to use silos to change the level of them. In fact, that's actually probably what I'll want to do as far as lowering the elevation on this. Okay, so this won't completely break this system that I had going on of just people removing wheat from the face of the planet. It will just mean that it's not being used to produce flour. Even though it did look nice, so that's a little sad, but it's better to properly utilize your space. Okay. I'm gonna have to, like, how bad is my base right now? It's just got so much random shit in it. Delete that. I'll probably want, honestly, I might just delete all of it. I know earlier I fed it out of my own volition. This is actually worth blue coins. I guess I do have 20 blue coins as a result of this, but I'm not gonna mess with that. Okay, I'll leave the assembly or conveyor belts in there because there's a reasonable chance that I will use them. Okay, so this needs to be modified slightly. Okay. I want to use stone? I think I do, since this is a nice big official bridge. How beautiful. Silo. Boom, boom. Conveyor belt. Alright. Next. These lines. Okay. So, first and foremost, most important is the bread, because that's what this whole thing was built for. I guess I'll build another silo right here to catch the milk and raise it up, now that it's at a spot where all of these assembly lines are going to go together. I could save scaffolding by lowering them and then raising them up back up when I need to. Honestly, this line's gonna need to be modified as well. This one is not important, I can just disassemble this line. I mean, they've finished what I originally had them set out to do anyway, so I don't really need this. I guess I'll let it feed through real quick. Okay. And honestly, now that I've done that, I can probably just feed everything into the side of the food store rather than the front. It's not really necessary now, but delete all that shit. Okay. So I definitely need... Oh, I can probably have milk and chicken share a line because their excess will not be that substantial, and then I will only need to feed 2 lines. Which means I can have chicken drop down here. They can probably share a silo. It'll be backed up for a little while, but it will sort itself out after a short amount of time. Now the next course of action is just building this line in a way that it won't cause issues. So I want to make sure it doesn't touch the manure farm. And it doesn't go in front of the kitchen. Oh, I can just rotate the kitchen, which is what I'm going to do to prevent that from potentially surfacing. I need to modify this scaffold type so I can actually build underneath it. And then for symmetry's sake, I have to do it on this side too. Alright, replace my lamps because lamps are beautiful and I love them. There we go. Actually, if I go under there, I won't be able to copy that route with the sandwich without deleting the lamp, but you know what? I guess the lamp gets what the lamp deserves. Being deleted. You know what? No. I want this line to be beautiful. I worked hard on it. I want it to be beautiful. I'm gonna put down a fence here. I guess I'll turn this to a stone pillar. Lamps down again. Have them face a different direction, I guess. Okay, that's something I can feel good about. Guess I'll just have it go in like a straight line over the water. It's gonna automatically build scaffold for me, so I don't have to worry about that. Except for right here. Alright, and that's now feeding into the food market, so we're good on that front. Now I just have to do the same thing with the sandwiches. So I want to copy the same line with the sandwiches, just build it over top. So I'll do this real quick. And I can just build a scaffold straight over it. It still leaves enough room to access the front, or access the apothecary, but I guess that's something to consider. By building my line this way, I am limiting what can enter the apothecary. Though there aren't a lot of different types of medicine. Yeah, let's see, there's spellbooks, salves, potions, and bandages. Those are the 4 types of items. Or is it 3? 4 types of items that, honestly, this would be worth looking into because it sells for blue coins, that go into the apothecary. So I will need to have more or less as expansive, I guess would be the right word, infrastructure to satisfy all of these needs as I am to satisfy all of these needs, and I haven't even done that yet. So maybe I want to rethink my strategy before getting too involved and have it go over top of this and down. I can have one line go under and then have the sandwiches go over. I think that's a better course of action. We'll have to modify this slightly because I used the wrong scaffold type. But things should be good from there. Okay. Conveyor belt. I guess that one just goes down, doesn't it? And I have to build a splitter on it. Okay, so that'll work. I guess I will kind of follow the same path I've done before, just a little bit further out because I built the fence. I want to go directly under, probably. Man, why didn't I use full scaffold blocks? That was terrible. I probably mentioned it while I was building. I'm like, I don't think this will matter, and then of course it does. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam, floating. No, can't have them be floating. They need better supports. Structural blocks. Stone bridge. There we go. Aw, yee. Worked without messing anything up, right? I think so. Of course, I can't build my line now because I can't click there, but we should be good now. So that line feeds in. Rebuild the juice line, which I have somehow managed to mess up. There we go. Alright. Next. The sandwich line. I'll use a silo to change the direction of that, but also I just want to, I guess. Makes me feel better, so I'm gonna do it. You can't stop me. You're not my real dad. Who's this over here? Oh, they're upset because I deleted their farm, or their kitchen. There was a way. Never mind. I was gonna say, I wish there was a way to delete the scaffold without deleting the path, and there is. You just have to be deleting scaffold and hold down left mouse button. Okay. This can be that. This has to be this, but then we're at level at this point, so it will have to be that the entire way. And then ramp, ramp. Conveyor. Okay, so that'll feed out. For the sake of making my lamp not look unnatural, I'm going to build completely over it. Which is unnecessary, but I'm gonna do it. There, it's sticking through the scaffold. I like that. Okay. And honestly, like, I should probably use silos to get it up to that height, even though it's dumb to have built it that tall anyway. Okay, so now actually I can make it one lower, which is good because then I don't have to be so ridiculous about how to get up there. Beautiful. What a dumb assembly line. But it's my dumb assembly line. Okay, last but not least, a little ramp. Alright, and then once this line is up and running, we should start seeing just an outpouring of gold coins. So here come the sandwiches. Again, there's a backlog on this as well. We'll want to watch it over time, but eventually it should... honestly, it's... I appear to be having... Oh, of course, they have a backlog of everything right now, so this is why it's all backed up. We should start seeing happiness go way up. As you can see, it's already bumping up. As sandwiches arrive at the food market and people start buying them, and sandwiches, I believe, are worth 100% of the grain. Yep. So these people will be good to go on grain for a while, which hopefully will allow other people to buy them. I don't know how exactly the priority system works on that, but I guess we'll see from there. So next on the agenda, need to make some meat to satisfy their meat needs. So next would be meat stew. I believe that is worth 100% of their meat need. Yes, it is, and it sells for more red coins than fish stew, which is would already be a pain in the ass because we don't have fish. I want to say it's even like easier to make besides that. Like if I go to the recipe for it, yeah, it needs fucking butter. Why? Like what's the point? I don't get it. What's the point of making fish stew? Whatever. I guess it takes 6 seconds to produce meat stew, but I might want to try to knock that down to 3 seconds, just like the sandwiches. So I'm gonna need to have 2 kitchens making them, which means that we'll also need to produce... How much meat was that? It's a farm, not a kitchen. Just 1 meat, okay. But we'll need potatoes and carrots as well. So I will need to get a barn with both of those in it, and if I look hard enough on the map, they might both exist. Here are carrots. Oh shit, hopefully there are potatoes. I didn't think about that. I might have to buy some land, which to be fair will be easier now. Oh wait, no, there's potatoes right here. Okay, there's carrots and potatoes. So I can build a barn. And I'll build 2 barns, just so that we have an even amount of both. Get some workers to start harvesting. You get potatoes, you get potatoes, you get potatoes, you get potatoes. Honestly, I should have my wheat guys start getting the carrots as well, since I might want to move into this area at some point in the future. What are these guys doing? Mouse over all these houses. Do they all have grain? So this will be an indicator of whether or not our assembly line is sufficient at meeting needs, and it currently is. I know some of them are lower on the list, but I don't know if they just didn't buy a sandwich yet because they didn't need to. But as a result, we now have a consistent 50% happiness because actually, I don't know. We'd have a consistent 40%, yeah? We have, how many houses? 20 houses, yeah. So consistent 40% happiness, and then any other happiness we have is just extra from the shirts, I guess. Or the cloth. But that's not a consistent system currently, because Gotta keep making all these bad boys. Of course, my trees are so far away now that my assembly line factory is not consistently producing things. And I've got so many workers just wasting their time to get trees that I probably can't afford to hire too many more. But to be fair, at some point I should just build an assembly line for that. But now is not that time. Okay, so we're almost through our backlog of cheese. Seems like we're producing more wool than we need to produce. Why is... Okay, so my milk is broken because I built my assembly line too close to it. Okay. So that will help. What does milk sell for? Is milk dairy or is milk meat for some reason? I would imagine it's dairy since there is a dairy category. Yeah, so that'll provide a little bit of satisfaction for that as well. And of course my chicken is also not... How did I just fucking forget to hook this up? Oh, we gotta make sure there's 2 assembly lines, la la da da. Yeah. Okay. So things make sense now, for the most part. And until the milk goes through, the chicken's gonna stay backed up, but that should kind of reverse at some point. And cheese is no longer in excess, so... Oh, this isn't in excess either, okay. I don't want to... I might transfer bread down to this line at some point, but I'm gonna wait until I can verify that it's actually extra. I mean, I guess that would exacerbate the issue pretty quickly if I started stealing from that assembly line, but I don't think the bread is extra, so I'm not gonna worry about that. And the milk is currently hogging the line, but it is also in the process of filtering out, and then it will no longer be in excess. What's going on here? Oh, that's an in-feed for water. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, barn boys are confused. They don't know how to bread anymore. So, what I am going to do is change this. And I will set this to be wheat, since some people still know where wheat is. And I will instead build a line out of here to allow us to gather carrots. Nope, I don't want that. I want... Nope. There we go. This there. This here. And connect them all up. At this point, anyone who no longer can figure out how to life will begin collecting carrots. And it's gonna take them a long ass time to get here, but I'll be able to do it. Of course, the one I click on is the one I already gave the command to, whatever. Okay, and then we'll also be able to sell those. What's this guy supposed to do? I feel like he was not gathering wheat, but maybe he was. Carrots. Okay. There's just so much shit over here, which is a good thing. Like, we'll be able to gather it from the source rather than requiring a farm. Tomatoes and sugar as well, which is something to bear in mind. I don't know what I'll be using those for, but something to bear in mind. Okay. So this seems to be working. We've finished with the excess milk. And it seems like we might actually not have an excess of milk. That my assembly, that I have not done this correctly, which I guess wouldn't surprise me. So these are producing milk. They are not able to match the throughput. because their farms are not able to output grain fast enough. So as a result, there's a shortage of cheese. Do I solve this the easy way by just adding workers? And I think the answer is yes. It's kind of a waste, but this is a pretty integral assembly line. I'll need to be more careful about this later. But so now we're doing this 2 seconds. This is 2 seconds. No, we're not doing this correctly, so this needs to be like fucking double. Shit. Okay. I've messed this up royally. So I am not going to do it this way. The next question is, I have messed this up. How do I fix this? Because I need to feed double the animal feed into here. This rate needs to be doubled. The easiest solution might be to just build what's going on over here. That might be the only way to realistically get this done. That being said, so what's my actual output? My actual output is 3 seconds to produce 1 feed. I need 2 feed. So I think that's where my issue is that these would be producing it fast enough, but they're not supplied with enough feed. So I don't need new pastures, I just need more feed. Which is an easier solution, but still difficult. Because it will also require me to restructure the cloth assembly line. Which is why these are horribly backed up, but once I fix the milk assembly line, that might not be the case. Jesus, when did I get 33,000 red coins? Okay. So, how do I go about getting more feed into these? I can't really build an assembly line on this side because it's full. I'm not going to be able to get anything there. I can move this and probably move my wells as well to get them to feed without being in the way. Although, let me check the bounding box, because, yeah, they're actually pretty short, so that's a non-issue. I can build over the wells, I think. Try. No, I cannot. Well, I can, but I'd have to go a little bit higher. Which might be okay anyway. I only need 1 cell accessible on each of these. That's not completely true. I need... okay. This is gonna be a little weird. So I need to build this line over here. I can't do that. Why can't I do that? Won't tell me. I guess probably because it doesn't count as being supported. So this is not going to work. Okay. So I will probably want to move my wells. Let's just go ahead and delete all this to start with. Okay. I probably can't build my wells on the other side either because of the way that it is set up. I don't really want to modify the structure of the output, so I'm going to avoid that at all costs. Now, I can build this 1 block higher by default, so I think I'm going to do that because I need the extra height. Honestly, what I can do, I might not have to worry about my wells as much. So actually, let me replace them, because I can get over them, just not from the way that I had done. And I'll wait, because I need to make sure that this gets hooked up correctly. And this is probably as efficiently as I can do this. Okay, so let me build over the coal deposits. can go up from here. And 4 blocks high should be high enough to clear a well. And it's also high enough to clear this, which I guess is probably better. Then, ooh, this could be good. I can just use a silo to feed onto this splitter. Then I don't have to, I won't utilize any of this footprint, which is good because I think I'm going to need as much as I can get to feed this. Okay, can that doesn't have to go straight either, does it? Okay. That's not what I want to. Oop. Alright, well, that'll work. Build scaffold over this. Build this kind of scaffold over it. Okay. Yes, this will work. Honestly, let me move this whole setup 1 block back, so even though it'll be over the coal, it will give me access to more preferable footprint. Okay, so 2 lines. Another splitter. So this should maintain functionality, except I have to do that. Alright. So this should still function the same way, it's just shaped a little differently. And then this will go there. I need my wood. Not my wood, my stone bridge. I need lamps. Structural blocks, stone bridge. Bam. Now I can put a lamp. Beautiful. Same here. Okay. Okay, so this should be functional again, but I want to watch to make sure that it actually does function. This is going to back up the line even more because it's going to slow down this. Oh, it's not going to affect that production at all. I don't know what I'm talking about. But we'll want to make sure that both lines actually. Okay, it does still split it like it's supposed to. So that'll work. These are about to run out of water. So, the question is, where do I want to place my wells? Probably as close to these assembly lines as I can, because this assembly line is already going to limit my access to this, so probably best to do it that way. I could even build my well under this one if I wanted to. I don't think I need to do that. Okay. We need to build 3 farms, build 3 grain mills, and feed that grain into these pastures. So, let's copy what we've got going on. And I guess I'll have to delete some trees, which is sad. And I guess now that the systems have been restructured, I can add water. What was... I pressed something and it was a hotkey to add water. Interesting. Okay. So this is my line. 1, 2, 3, 4, because I need extra space to clear my kitchens. And 3 in this direction. So we're gonna be deleting more than trees, fortunately. And deleting air stone as well, which I don't even know what that is. sorry, mana shards, which are probably more important. Shit. Well, that's what poor planning gets you. Alright, farm. Actually, let me build my grain mills first. Because... actually, I don't need to do that. I was going to say that they're a good reference point, but I don't need to. Buildings. I'm going to have a huge issue with wheat, aren't I? No, I've already dealt with this problem. Okay. Farming/mining, farm tile. I have 400, so I should be able to build this without too much difficulty. Let me place my farms first. So, this 3 and here. So there's my farms. Farming. I did not build far enough over, and this land is not level. Shit. Okay. Tools, remove resource. I didn't need to do that last layer. Shit. I'm flattened down. Can I do this? I think I can do this. Still accomplish what I need. Alright, I'm pretty sure that's right. Yes, all of this land is flat. That's the wrong area. Do need to raise this land. Divert the river for farming. Honestly, now that I'm looking at it, this is probably excessive, but I'm too scared about having it not work. Interesting that the tiles along the water actually appear to have been watered by default, which is, I mean, it makes sense, but it is also neat. Select recipe, set it to grain, even though there's no grain for it to harvest yet. Okay, now plant. Farming/mining, plant grain. Okay, it's gonna take a little bit to grow, but that'll be fine. Shouldn't take too long. I'm actually gonna chew through all of my stock. I have to wait. Damn it. Well, we did this for a reason. Blocker will now block, the grain mill will fill up, and eventually we will start to harvest more grain. Honestly, why did I build that there? Should have built it here. There we go. And honestly, I should just put a pusher there. So that my barn is priority, because I have needs. How's this doing? It's got a ton of stuff in it, again. Delete my precious cheese. Alright, watch these guys go. Okay, how's this doing? Alright, this is still staying filled up. Everyone else seems to be doing okay. I'm getting to a point where I might be able to shut off production of stone bricks as well. Because I have a lot to build with. Yeah, whatever. I'll keep doing it for now. I'll deal with that problem when it comes, I guess. Alright, so there is everything for the grain mills. Buildings, grain mill. Set it to animal feed. And feed from the farms. Oh, I never finished planting all of the wheat. Okay. Get some grabbers. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, are these actually working? Okay, yes, these are actually working. So, now the difficult part, getting it where I need it to go. I'll probably want to use silos to reduce the height. That being said, I have a lot of height to reduce it by. Okay, so here is the height benchmark I need to hit. I think that'll work. Otherwise I'll have to lower the input, which is going to make it difficult to use chutes since chutes require shit. Okay. How much lower can I go? Hopefully some. I'm not sure. Oh wait, I know I can go. Oh my gosh, this is gonna drive me crazy. Cannot click on these scaffolds because the kitchens. Don't do this to me, game. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me, game. Have mercy. Okay, I guess those are permanent. Okay, so what I can actually do then, if that is too tall, I can build a silo that it feeds directly into. Come on! Oh no, I can't delete it. I should also use this silo to, yeah, whatever. Okay, so it needs to be 1 block lower than that currently is. That should work. I should be able to build here. Yes. Okay, so these will stay the same shape, which is good because I didn't want to have to delete those kitchens. Yep, 4 blocks. Okay. Like, use so much scaffold now, I might want to turn my, change back my thing to collecting scaffold. Or, collecting these planks instead of outputting them. Yeah, where are they currently outputting this? This is all going to here, yes? Yes, okay. Yeah, I should be fine. I'll make sure when I build the official line for this that I make sure to siphon off some excess. Because I'll need those planks continuously, but I'll be able to define the amount of inventory that I want to hold. Okay, anyway, back to business. Oh my gosh, I can't place a fucking silo here because of the kitchen. Why, game? I guess I have to delete the kitchen, I have no choice. Am I gonna be able to rebuild the kitchen? I need to check. Okay, yes, I'll still be able to rebuild them. Silos are there. I can build my chutes. I can add ramps to these just for the hell of it. Even though I could just have them automatically output, I want ramps. It'll make me feel better about this whole thing. Okay, now let's replace the kitchens. Difficult to mouse down there, but that's what happens. Cheese. And these are facing the wrong way. Okay, there we go. Grabbers. These are set to animal feed, yes, okay. I need to get this down very low, now that I'm realizing this. So, this is the layer I need to build on. I think I can feed it directly in at that point. So we should be okay. It isn't turning out as bad as I thought. And if I can, oh shit. Okay, that well needs to be moved. But we have space to move it, so that's fine. Except I need to rotate this first. Okay. So it's asymmetrical, but it'll get the job done. Okay, now let's watch. Yep, it's working. So now these should actually have enough animal feed to consistently output, or close to consistently output, but I think this will be sufficient. There's a slight delay, but that's as a result of the happiness bonus causing it to have a higher production rate than I can handle. But let's save because I've done a lot, and we will continue. So everything is running smoothly. These guys, their meat demand is actually currently being met. The grain demand is not, even though I made a massive assembly line for it. But there were also some kinks that I had to work out, so things should be okay now. Why is this backed up? Why am I not able to output this fast enough? Okay, this is gonna seem ridiculous. It is going to be ridiculous. But something about this isn't working. That needs to be fixed. Now, of course, I don't have enough space, so I'm gonna have to make it real weird. Doesn't solve my problem. I have to do it this way. I believe these will kind of like teleport. If I have them go between silos. What am I doing wrong? I'm losing my fucking mind. I don't think there's a way that I can do this. Oh, of course, these are hitting their limit because they're producing more. But ideally, I would still like to fix it. But it means that I need to have constant output. So actually what I'm going to do is redirect this line. And actually have it feed into these sides. And then we shouldn't be limited by the throughput of... Why is this so hard for me? Like not setting this up correctly at all. Okay. I think this is the best I can do. I think I'm like trying to do something with a grid that can't be done. Might end up having to like modify this later when I'm trying to sell my other goods because they might get in the way, but I guess we'll do this. Okay. So it is kind of teleporting, but like not quite. I guess it is working now. It is. Bottleneck's up here now. Whatever. What if I do like a pusher? Will that make it go faster? If I use a pusher, will it teleport at lightning speed? No, it has 0 impact. Here I can circumvent the system by placing these here, placing more conveyor belts, and then using splitters. This is fucking stupid. We need more juice! Fucking beautiful. The food market can't sell it. Okay, this is wildly unnecessary, as I have determined. So I'm actually exceeding the need of the townspeople to the point where they cannot drink this much juice. They say, please, please, we can't drink this much. Oh my goodness. I didn't think that this would ever happen, but I guess it did. I'm producing something that is... I'm producing it too fast for them to need it. Okay. And I think that's still going to be the case, but I think I should be better on the bread front now. I think this is better than it was. It is better than it was. In fact, we might have actually beat out our surplus on the chicken front. But if I watch this, it'll only... Okay, yeah. It's basically there. And as a result, we should, if I mouse over all of these guys, hopefully they're all fed at this point now. The line has had a chance to sort itself out. Okay. I think it's safe to say at this point we do have an excess of bread. But I'll wait a little bit longer. At this point, I think I'm probably gonna cut the stream here. It's pretty late in the evening, so I'll see you guys around, and next time we will actually begin to build our meat stew assembly line that hopefully won't be as obnoxious and ridiculous as this monolith over here. But until then, see you guys around.